subject that I wanted to talk about in our Japan report segment, which is, if I can get it, Akihabara. So basically, I just put a picture on the screen that you can see, which is we got the very sad news that the Sega arcade is closing, has closed in Akihabara. And I remember, like, ever since I've been, I was originally born in Algeria. I arrived in Canada at 18. And when I was getting into anime in Algeria, I always dreamed of going to Akihabara. I used to follow this website called Akihabara News. And I always related Akihabara with this big Sega sign that you see on all the pictures. So now that it has closed, I have the following two questions for you two. First, have you two well, Matt, I'm sure since you've been there for many years in Japan, have you two visited Akihabara? What were your thoughts, and what do you think is going to be the state of Akihabara post-pandemic following the closure of Sega Arcade, and I'm sure a lot of other stores that don't get talked about closed?
Well, to me, the
Speaking
most
of
recent I
Felipe,
was there this Golden Week in Japan, and I passed by some of like the Sega arcade building, and then I passed other streets in Shinjuku and stuff. So all the Sega buildings they got converted into Jigo or Gigo, however you pronounce. I forgot what it stands for. Something about gaming in great option or something. It's a weird name.
yeah.
It's a company that just took over, but they're still arcades. I don't think they might disappear anytime soon. Sega might have other plans. That's why they closed down that branch in particular. But they're still making games and other. But I guess it's hard to say why they discontinue these arcades. But in name only, it's no longer Sega. But they're still arcades. I passed by and I almost met a guy I thought it was a French YouTuber, and then I talked to him, and then he told me that he knows who I'm talking about, but it wasn't him. Small world. I met a French guy with long hair, and I thought it was this one in particular. And then I went to him, talk in French, and he's like, "I don't, I won't, I know who it is, but it's not me." Anyway, yeah. So Sega arcades are still okay, but like speaking of pandemic, because in the middle of the pandemic, Japan does want to open up soon, right? So if it is economic related,
Yeah.
maybe they'll be salvaged because just 2 weeks ago or so, they started accepting work visas and student visas. So about 30,000 new people came here or still coming here. So that's a
Really?
lot of new tourist money, so to speak. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, they'll be fine. You know, everybody's getting vaccinated around the world and getting their third booster shots, and it should be fine. Getting back to normal slowly.
So what you're saying is, when I finally get to visit Japan for the first time in my life, I'll be able to go and check out all of the very otaku figurines and very otaku visual novels and all of the visual novel stores that are in Akihabara, and they're still there, right?
Yes, that won't be
Yeah.
going away. And about the arcade, just change names. Don't worry about that.
How about you, Matt? How was your experience going to Akihabara? And for the first time, what did you think? And what do you think is the current state?
All right. Before I say my experience the first time in Akihabara, I have a hot take. I have a hot take.
Oh,
Nakano Broadway is better than Akihabara. Fight me.
What?
Okay? There's this little area, there's like this building in a district of Tokyo called Nakano, where it's just bunch of little anime stores in this giant building. And it's like but it's all sorts of restaurant stores. Like there's restaurants, there's figure stores, there's card stores, there's game stores, there's a Western game store, which is like super small, and it's just like it only has like Halo and all the Western brands, and just this weird Japanese guy who's like, I love West, and I'm like, oh my god. It's
Oh,
just an amazing building full of awesome, cool stuff, and it's like a compact version of Akihabara. So to me, when I want to just go explore and look at different anime stuff, I go there instead of Akihabara. Because my first time in Akihabara, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is cool. But then I was like, there's not that much here. When you really look around, it's like, okay, there's stores, but like you can only go to so many anime statue stores or like anime good stores until you go, they all have the same thing basically.
Yeah, I agree
It's
with
like,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like,
I,
okay, instead of walking around this huge, massive area, sure, there's lots of stores and stuff, but eventually you go, okay, it's all basically the same thing. Instead of that, I'm like, okay, let me just go to Nakano to this big building. It's all compact. There's lots of stuff in there. There we go.
yeah,
But
Rashid, temper your expectations. It's bigger. It's smaller than you think it is, but
Yeah.
it's actually bigger than you think it is.
yeah,
Because just like Matt said, it's a lot of the same, and
Yeah.
there's so many buildings of at least 3, 4 stories, and of course, like the top floors are usually the cultured stuff, if you know what I mean.
yes,
But it's a
that
lot
is
of
true.
it's a lot of even like put the culture stuff aside, it's a lot of floors. So if you want to explore every single nook and cranny, you don't have a day. You need to go there every single day to visit everywhere.
That's
And even the station
amazing.
itself is confusing. Yeah, there's
This,
so many exits and entrances, and the station is here, and then the exits go around and a bit further, and it's so confusing. I lost my way like last time, and I was walking around looking for the subway, and I was like, damn, I walked so much for nothing. And some of the
City.
cafes that are closing down, like the
okay.
Gundam cafe is no longer, and I
Yeah,
think there's
Gundam
another
Cafe
cafe
is
closing
closing.
there.
Just
Yeah.
reassure me.
So far,
Are the maid cafes
yes, go
still
ahead.
there?
Yes, there are
Yes,
still maid
they still
cafes.
Good.
recruit over there. Personally, I haven't gone to one yet in like 6 years and a few visits, but I don't want to go alone. I want to have experience with like buddies. So, all right, man. If
I
we
went.
meet, let's go. And you too, Rashid. But yeah,
Oh,
like personally, I don't
no, please
want that
I
continue.
experience. I went to such maid cafes in like in Montreal and other places, and like that's fine. It's always the same. Like, hello, master. Okay, thanks. I prefer to go to themed cafes. Like I did went to the Gundam cafe. I went to cat cafe. Obviously, I went to hedgehog cafe, bunny cafe, owl
Hmm.
cafe. Even other anime themes like I don't know, was One Piece cafe, One Piece restaurant, and so on. I like those better.
Is there a Type Moon cafe or any? I mean, by Type Moon, I mean Feste Night,
Yeah, I know.
Tsukihime, and all
Yes,
that.
I'm sure there is,
There
but I
is a
haven't
Type Moon
looked enough.
cafe? Okay, because if there is a Type Moon cafe, I'm booking my flight tomorrow.
Don't take this as a promise, but I'm saying that if you want, there might be
I'm
because
saying,
it's
yeah.
Japan, of course. There will be something. But I am not a big fan. I'm a One Piece guy. One Piece is better. But I digress. We're not talking about what's better. It's just all subjective. But there should be. Like I did come across a clam cafe, and there's supposed to be like very soon
Just a clam
Kingdom
cafe.
Hearts.
Nice.
cafe. Yeah, there should be